It's time to continue my series exploring the extremities of the Rhine-Main S-Bahn centered around Frankfurt, this time with a visit to
Hanau Hauptbahnhof, terminus for Line 9 and occasionally Line 8.
From time to time, passengers who need to change trains at Hanau have a small panic attack when they check their itinerary and realize they have only 10 minutes to get from track 5 to track what the hell? In Germany, it's not platforms that are numbered, but tracks, and according to a scheme that makes sense to train drivers, not necessarily to passengers. This means that there are often gaps in the numbering, and Hanau Hauptbahnhof is in effect two stations next to each other.
So, to my left are the platforms for the trains up to northern Hesse and on into Thuringia, and on my right, the platforms for trains into Bavaria.
And so, tracks in the northern half have numbers beginning at 1, and those in the southern half are numbered from 101. Back when the railways were first built by different companies, there were two stations serving Hanau, but very quickly the lines were extended and the Frankfurt to Aschaffenburg line got its own platforms at Hanau Ost. Later, Hanau Ost was renamed Hanau Hauptbahnhof and the other station was renamed Hanau West. The original main station building was built right here, between the two sets of tracks, and in a uniquely German architectural style known as Rundbogenstil. But it was severely damaged in the Second World War, and in 1967, exactly 100 years after it was first built, it was finally demolished after a replacement for it was built on the north side.
So let's go and explore the city. Oh, hang on.
The station is quite a long way from the city centre. Much closer would be Hanau West, which is now just a stop for some local trains. It's not even served by the S-Bahn as that comes in from Steinheim, but work has already started on adding a new S-Bahn line to serve central Hanau properly.
Never mind. We'll just go back to the station and take a bus.
And a quick random fact about the buses, even though there have been no trams in Hanau since the war, the bus company is still called Hanauer Straßenbahn. Hanau is of course most famous as the birthplace of the Brothers Grimm, so it's a slight shame that the city doesn't look like something out of one of their fairy tales, which is a source of disappointment to the average tourist. It used to be a lot more handsome, but then history happened.
As a major industrial city, Hanau was a prime target in the Second World War. So it was basically destroyed, and all of these buildings were built after the war in what was then a modern style. But the street layout is largely intact.
A few buildings were reconstructed, such as the original town hall, which dates from 1538 and includes, among other things, the official Hanau Cubit, a tamper-proof measure to ensure that market traders couldn't cheat their customers. In 1942, it was converted, in close collaboration with the Nazi regime, into a museum of goldsmiths' art, a role that the post-war reconstruction still serves today. This is in the oldest part of Hanau that includes the church where the great-grandfather of the famous Brothers Grimm once preached. But in the 16th century, religious refugees from France and the Spanish Netherlands, a country that was roughly where the Netherlands, Belgium and Luxembourg now are, were allowed to settle here and found a new city.
This plaza is built on what was at one time a moat that surrounded the original city of Hanau, which was over there, and at one time also divided it from the new city of New Hanau, which was originally independent. Later, this row of houses here is where the Brothers Grimm were born, although, of course, the house that they were born in no longer exists.
A quick glance at a map shows the stark contrast between the medieval town and the Renaissance city with its neat grid layout. Until as late as 1821, these were two different cities, each with its own marketplace, town hall and mayor. The refugees that built the new Hanau were Calvinists who weren't welcome in Frankfurt, but they were experts in metalwork, textiles and other industries. Hanau was far enough away to be outside of Frankfurt's influence, but close enough for easy access to the Frankfurt Trade Fair. That made Hanau the perfect place for them to settle, and so it became the industrial powerhouse which, unfortunately, later made it a target for British air raids. It was Count Philip Louis II, himself a Calvinist, who made all this possible, and so his bust stands outside the church that was built for the new arrivals. It was in two parts, a smaller Dutch-speaking church and a larger French-speaking church united in one building. After the war, only the Dutch-speaking half was rebuilt. The rest was deliberately preserved as an empty shell, one of countless reminders in Germany of the destructive nature of war. It is now one of the last Reformed churches in Germany that still retain their independence, although services are now held in German. Today's Hanau has a population of approximately 100,000, which is the cause of a great deal of furious argument. A census conducted in 2022 appeared to show that Hanau had fewer residents than previously calculated, bringing the figure to just below the magic 100,000 mark, and with that it could lose some valuable EU subsidies. The city has been fighting an uphill battle against this, but has won one small victory. It has recently been declared an urban district, independent of the Main-Kinzig rural district, giving it slightly greater autonomy to conduct its own affairs, which is at least something.
Thank you so much for watching. If you click down here, you should be able to see another of my absolutely brilliant videos, but for now, that's all I can think of to say about Hanau. Actually, no, that's not true. I've just remembered something that is absolutely fascinating.